Hi guys, and thank you for joining me. This is going to be your 2015 review reading. I know it's coming in the end of January. However, I think that it's still going to provide you guys with all the questions that you have. So answer all the questions that you have for the month. I'm reading with the Alexander Daniloff Tarot deck, and I'm using only the trumps from his deck. But the deck with the lower arcana, which is all 78 cards, I am selling on my website, and you can get the link below. I believe this deck is one of the best decks out there, and that's why I chose it. So, without further ado, let's begin your reading. Hi Pisces, and thank you for watching this video. I am filming the 2015 full arcana reading. So like I said in the intro, if you want a personalized reading along with a bit of numerology, you can get that through my site at varouche.com. If you want this lovely deck, you can also get it on my site. Anyway, let's begin your reading because it's quite a long one. I've split it into two pieces, so make sure that you watch the second part as well. I'm giving cards a good shuffle. Oops. And giving them a good cut. Alright, well let's see how your 2015 is about to turn out. Now I'm reading with just the Arcana deck, the 22 trumps, but the deck itself has all 78 cards. But this reading just requires the 22 trumps. Alright. So I'm also doing this reading on behalf of Kate, who was very gracious to me this year, and she donated one of her photos for my Cosmic Flower Oracle deck. And so she is a Pisces, and so this reading is also faster because of her. So you guys can thank her in your comments. She was very gracious to do that for me this year, and so I'm very happy to offer that for her. Well, the year is going to be full of surprises, and particularly in the beginning of the year, you have the majority of the work to do. And then if you process everything appropriately, then by the end of the year, you're going to be reaping the benefits of your hard work. I'm going to just try to spread the cards out a little bit more. Now see, I'm using all of the trumps, so don't freak out when you see the Tower, the Death card, and the Devil. All those cards come up for all the signs, so that's normal with this reading. So it's much more to do with placement positions and with regard to how the cards are organized vis-a-vis each other. So let's begin. This is a modification of the Celtic crossbred that we're familiar with from before. So let's begin without further ado. At the center of the reading we have the Magician. So the Magician tells me that Pisces is going to be very strong in 2015. You have a lot of deep reservoir of knowledge, and you know how to tap energy this year in a very good way. I think that you have the ability to be a masterful creator in your reality and have a strong effect on other people's reality as well. Your word carries with it a really strong message, a message that can resonate and create new realities for people as you go along. So keep in mind that you do have this really powerful aspect of the magician right at the center of the reading, and that magician's aspect is going to really formulate a lot of the strength through which you blaze through as you face different kind of obstacles. Now Pisces, the second card that's modifying is the Tower. In this position, the Tower is actually quite significant and something to watch out for. In relationships, the Tower can mean a spontaneous meeting, and actually you meeting somebody with whom you will have a very wild romance. But overall, the Tower is regarding an upset of order and a challenge to the status quo as you know it. So again, you have this juxtaposition between the great power that you hold this year and the extensive change that you experience about what you perceive. Maybe leading up to this point, you didn't feel yourself as strong as you are, and so maybe this is an awareness, maybe this is an epiphany of how strong you actually are and how far that strength can carry you. Alternately, if you use your power unwisely this year, expect things to fall all around you, and that onus is directly on your shoulders. So if you are a cruel tyrant with the power that you have, then expect that tyranny to be directly challenged by people and those around you, and basically luck shifting against you. So don't mess with karma this year. But if you are in the right flow of things, which it looks like you will be, then things will go your way. But expect fundamental shifts in terms of your whole experience, and the Tower will come down on you in several different aspects of your life. So you may see a spontaneous relationship burst open, but at the same time you may see different friendships and relationships fall apart. You may see different plans that you had expected to follow through to not actually follow through. The reason for this is that your power as the magician in 2015 has you aiming maybe in new directions, different directions than you had done so before. And so that sort of erodes the strength that you have in other directions. You can't, put your eggs only, you're kind of focusing your attention. I was thinking of the eggs in the basket, but that doesn't apply here. So basically, if you shift your focus from one thing, then the other thing will not get as much attention, and therefore it'll start eroding and falling away. And so that's really relevant for you this year. So this is the center of the reading and where we begin. A great, really powerful center. The combination of these cards really suggests that there's massive shifts that are going on for you. You're really stepping into a leadership role, and you yourself have the ability to create an energy around you, an energy that will reverberate really past anything that a regular person does. And that's really to do with really being on point in terms of energy. So it's like you've fallen into the right flow of circumstances and things. Okay, so let's look at your outer social environment throughout the year. Throughout the year, you will see that you are establishing yourself and thinking about career, thinking about family life, and thinking about matters more concretely. You're not going to be wasting your time, just dilly-dallying, and what's going to become really important is your relationship with either your father or your husband if you are married. If you are a man, then the role of being a father will become really important. This card also can mean a woman who is very interested in her career and establishing herself, and not allowing everything to erode around her in order to achieve this. So this year is really socially for you about not wasting time. Maybe 2014 you feel like a lot of things were in stasis, and maybe you hadn't been able to achieve some of your goals to the effect that you wanted to. Maybe you did some soul searching and you realized that the things that you were doing in 2014 were not productive and constructive. And so you enter 2015 with a real business-like attitude. Maybe some success of the past has led you into this, and you feel blessed and you feel empowered by the opportunities that are around you. And so moving forward, maybe you are thinking more concretely about who you want to be and how you want to project yourself into the world, and you're kind of all business in terms of how you want to approach the year, how you want to approach your goals. You don't want to let things fall to the wayside, and so you're very much invested in pursuing that at this time. What's modifying this attitude is the Devil and the Fool card. The Devil really talks about the propensity to party, the propensity to be kind of wasteful, the propensity to have social encouragement to misdirect your focus in inappropriate ways. So I get the sense that you, Pisces, have had lots of relationships in the past with people who really enjoy your kind of fun attitude and your like life-loving way of being. So that kind of disposition is great, but at the same time it works against you and your goals. And so it's really important to realize that even people who are good people can lead you astray, and you need to keep on checking yourself this year in order to make sure that the people who are around you are not distracting you from your greater life goals. The other modifier here is that you'll face time and again new beginnings, especially if you look at this modifier, the Tower. A lot of different changes will be happening to your life and to the lives of the people around you. And so drastic changes will happen as to how people lead their lives, what they need, and the pace of the life itself. And so with all these different changes going on, you will be faced to find new beginnings again and again and again. For example, maybe you are working in a job in a company that is owned by a private owner. That owner it's a family business, and so that family business may undergo some changes. Maybe all of a sudden the owner needs to move to a different country, or their focus of their time needs to go a different direction, and they decide to close down the company. That would be the Tower. And then all of a sudden you have to look for work, and a new beginning is upon you. And that Tower may not necessarily be yours, but the ripple effect affects you, and so therefore you're faced with a new beginning. So in terms of your social interactions, expect waves of new beginnings coming at you all the time this year, and that's going to be modifying your establishment as the powerhouse that you want to be this year. And so you're going to have to face these new beginnings, new opportunities. Some of them are going to be like switching jobs. Some of them are going to be, hey, I just met someone who I've always really wanted to know, and this person and I can become friends. So not all these changes are necessarily to your detriment. Some of these are new opportunities. So think of it as not a negative or positive thing, but just kind of a balance between the two. The real warning here is watch out for people around you who you need to really figure out where they're coming from and what they want. And then also with regard to people around you this year, remember that even though someone is good to you, someone is a good person, that doesn't mean that their interaction with you is good for you at this time. So make sure that their trajectory is okay with yours. For example, imagine a friend who is just finished university and has 3 months to find a job, let's say, and you've been working really hard at your work, and that person constantly wants to hang out because all of a sudden, after 4 years of school, they have all this time on their hands and they're idle, they don't have much to do. That person is a good person. That person is your friend. However, hanging out with them all the time will not work to your advantage, and so you're falling into the path of the devil because you're kind of wasting time. So the advice is make sure that the engagement that you're being offered from friends and family right this year in your social environment is actually building to your own goals and building to your own trajectories that you've set out for yourself at the beginning of the year. So at the bottom of the reading down here, we have the star, and the star is being modified by two of the most wonderful cards in the deck, which is the High Priestess and the Sun card. At the center, remember that the main theme of your year is that of the Magician. So the Magician is there for a reason. It means you're very powerful this year. There's different aspects that add into that. So it's not just one that kind of creates this circumstance or this situation. The star is saying that on the undercurrents, you're really stepping in to the right path, or you're kind of stepping in to the truth of the matter. And so essentially you're in the right flow. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the idea of flow, but it's like being in the right place at the right time. And so that gives you a certain amount of room to navigate, because you're in the right path and everything, you're kind of in a jet stream of events that is leading you to where you need to be. So in the undercurrents of everything, you may not actually even see how A connects to C, but through all the events of this year, this undercurrent leads you to the appropriate place, and you don't really have to do that much legwork in order to find your true destiny this year, in order to really identify it. So you're within the flow. And that's also being modified by the Sun and the High Priestess. Whatever's happened up to this point, I'm guessing there's been a fair bit of happiness that's been going on in your life, which is signified by the Sun. But I feel like this is September for you, and the summer's just waned, but everything's still warm. The ground is warm, the sun is warm, and you're kind of still blessed by the events that have just happened. And so you're kind of shining, you're kind of enjoying life, and that undercurrent is still there. So everything that you approach is filled with happiness and joy. And so that's really providing an armor for you, an armor of happiness, an armor of light that allows you to kind of pull yourself through circumstances as they come up for you this year and really kind of be blessed and happy. And a lot of this position has a lot to do with undercurrents. So things that you may not be even consciously aware of. And when you look back on yourself, maybe you'll be able to see them, or maybe the people around you see them. But really it has to do with those private moments within yourself. The other modifier is the High Priestess, which tells me that you have a personal dialogue with yourself this year that's really tapping some higher truths of consciousness, something to do with the universe and something to do with greater norms and truths. And so that's also placing you in the right path of where you need to be. This is wonderful modification, particularly because the Tower is here. With the Tower here, it really tells me that the outcome will be good regardless of what comes your way. Your inner happiness, that warmth from the previous experiences that were so uplifting, and the deep inner knowledge of the truths of the universe are really going to put you in the path of the right way. And so regardless of whatever falls apart, regardless of what doesn't work out this year, you're still going to be on the right path, on the right road. So this is the last little triad I'll talk to before I switch to part 2. I'm running out of battery, and this is a part of the reason why I'm doing this. But in the past, this really shows me that you've invested your time wisely, particularly into formalized relationships such as marriages, or potentially school, or potentially religious organizations. To me, the Hierophant card really has to do with community interaction, where the community establishes a certain set of laws and principles that you engage with and you interact with. Traditionally, it means school or marriage or religious interaction. However, I think that in our post-religious world, for many people, this really means the community. And so existing within the laws of the community and participating in different kinds of events that are formalized, that get you certified in a certain way in order to allow you to participate in that community is what this card means. And that means that in the past, you have interacted with this kind of environment that has made you stronger and more able to